What's up, what's up? It's time for Done Way Past Funny with your host, G.D. Fenderson. Join us as we discuss the art, science, and business of comedy with comedians and comedian adjacent. With this episode's guest, Steph Stigma. It's time to get down and get dope with Done Way Past Funny. Hi, welcome to Done Way Past Funny, where we discuss the art, science, and business of comedy with comedians and comedian adjacent. I'm your host, G.D. Fenderson, Certified Forensic Humourist at large, but I'm losing weight, so I tell myself. My guest this episode is North Carolina comedian Steph Stigma. How's it going, Steph?
Pretty goddamn good.
All right, that's the way to be. If you're going to be some way, be goddamn good.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I think we might want to retake that because you just lost any monetization on YouTube if you use profanity within the first 2 minutes.
Fuck them. I'm not monetized. I'm not making a penny. What are you going to take? My blood? They already got that.
Right? Yeah, how else am I going to afford groceries unless I donate once a week or day?
Now, Steph Stigma, let's do the audience a favor. Let's tell them a little bit about yourself, where you're located, how long you've been doing comedy, and if you want them to stalk you or follow you, where they can do so.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina. Started out at the Dead Crow Comedy Club about 6 years ago, and I've been, going steady since. Mostly just touring in the Southeast right now, but planning an East Coast thing in the spring, so that'll be cool. And yeah, you can find me on all the socials, YouTube, Facebook, Threads, the Necronomicon, just.
All right, cool. Now, I have a question right off the bat. Why Stigma?
That was actually a nickname in high school. Yeah, like I was playing music, like we were making like industrial music, and my buddy in the band, gave everybody, nicknames or stage names. And I was like, why Stigma? And he's like, well, because I noticed that, you're always trying to be helpful and people come to you with their problems and stuff. And if shit goes sideways, you're the first person they blame.
Okay. I don't think of that. I never thought of that as stigma, but
it's
okay.
Scapegoat, but he wasn't good with words.
All right. Well, it sounds, look, it's got alliteration, and it's stuck. It's stuck.
Oh yeah. And yeah, if you ever like watch a documentary about like mental health or like alien abductions or something, like it sounds like I'm famous because they're like stigma this, stigma that, we got to get rid of the stigma. Like I'm on everybody's hit list. We got to get rid of that.
I understand. I was driving through Michigan, and the abbreviation for Grand in Grand Rapids is GD. And I'm driving through going, wow, they have my river. There's GD River. Look, there's GD State Park. No, it's not. That's just their abbreviation for Grand. And I thought I was welcome to Michigan. So
no, not even Flint.
Now, you just said 6 years that you said, did you say Dead Crow? What was it? What kind of crow?
Yeah, Dead Crow Comedy Club.
So that's how long you've been doing comedy for 6 years?
Yeah. And then, been doing music for 32 years.
Okay, because I'm looking at your bio, and that's what I assumed. Well, not necessarily music, but it says 32 years of performance chaos under her belt. So I assumed that there was something other than comedy, and it could have been acting. It could have been
a little bit sometimes.
Yeah. So now, when you decide to do comedy, or actually before you decided to do comedy, were there skill sets that you picked up from performing music that you applied almost instantly to comedy?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, I've been trying to like write jokes. I'd keep a joke book for probably about 15 plus years. And,
Wow.
I'd try them out with like friends and family, and people would stare at me blankly and maybe, give a little pity chuckle. And, uh, but then like just one day it just kind of clicked. Uh, I was like trying to be funny, which that's death for comedy. Like you got to make yourself laugh first and foremost. Not,
Yes.
but what my aha lightning bulb moment was, oh, a joke is just a song really really condensed. It's just
Okay.
um, because you've got your tone, your pitch, your rhythm, your melody. Like space, empty space is so important. And
Yes.
when it's like a song is building tension, building expectation, and then either it's triggering a recognition because the chorus drops and it's like, oh, that's what I was hearing in my head where it was gonna go, and that gives you that serotonin, dopamine hit. Or it does something completely unexpected and different. It's like, oh shit, that's crazy.
Yeah, and like comedy or like music, you don't want to end your joke with a major seventh on a major seventh.
Right.
You kind of like to resolve it.
Yeah. Or do you just pound out fifth chords over and over, which is the equivalent of crowd work.
Now, now it says here that you were now. Here's something I needed explaining to me, and you're probably the one that can do it. It says occasionally Lovecraftian. Is that, am I saying it right? Lovecraftian things on
Oh,
stage.
yeah.
Okay.
That's so. Um, uh, H.P. Lovecraft, his
Oh,
personal beliefs aside, because we know that he was a major asshole. But he invented cosmic horror and Cthulhu, and like the unknowable is the most terrifying thing, and so I just, um, I love that surrealist like idea, like jokes that you let the audience fill in, let their imagination tell the punchline for you and things like
yes.
that. Or
Okay.
um,
I now I feel like an idiot because if I just dropped off the Ian and just went with
hmm.
the Lovecraft, it would have made sense. But
Oh
I'm
yeah,
thinking I focused on the word craft because
right.
the art and artistry, and I'm going, and so love and craft were just two different things. It was like love of craft, and I'm going, I was way, oh man.
Gotta love the craft, though. I mean,
Yes,
so
and that's
it's
what I was thinking because they make a good mayonnaise and it keeps Michael's in business. But sorry. All right, let me stop. Let me stop while I'm not even close to a head.
wow. Yeah, with a name like Lovecraft, like it was surprising that he was full of so much hate and fear.
Now I'm gonna. I watched the you sent. I watched the full your 30-minute set at the
Hmm.
where was it?
It's a local spot, Waterline Brewery.
Right. Um, I laughed. I laughed out loud a lot. Um, and as a matter of fact, if well, one of the things I like about comedians, I like comedians that are different from myself. I like
Right,
comedians that can tell a story, that have a point of view that I would not be able to tell. You know,
right.
and you've got that. And not only do you tell stories that I cannot tell, you tell them in a way that makes me wish I could tell them like what it's like, it's like did a couple of jokes. I went, man, if I were gay, I would tell that joke.
Oh
Or I would
well, but I'm not gay.
I'm
That's
not no, I'm saying, but I'm not transgendered, so I have to be
right.
gay.
Oh
So
shit, you just outed me. Uh oh. Here come the haters.
oh no,
No,
so
it's cool.
since I'm not trans, that for that joke to work for me, I'd have to be gay. But the point is, it was really well crafted and it was so funny. And I thought to myself, man, I could never tell that joke, but I really enjoyed what you did with it. And
Well,
you did that quite a few times.
mm.
And
Yeah,
so
like when you just have like a laundry list of marginalized situations, like you don't have to worry about Carlos Mencias out there. Not a lot of people are going to rip off my, trans autistic alien abduction jokes.
No, because I'd have to do it without the abduction, and I'm going, no, you need the abduction. You need the abduction. You can't.
Yeah, you got to have the probing.
Yeah, you got to, and it's really funny.
Thank you.
So that bit how long did it take you to work that bit to get it to where it is?
The whole 30?
Sure, why not?
Well, I mean, some of those jokes have been around for a couple of years,
Right.
in one form or the other, and it's a constant iterative process.
Right.
And some of it's newer material, some of it's off the cuff, and but I don't know. I think that particular set was a combination of maybe like 2.5 years,
Okay.
crafting to get it somewhat comprehensible.
Okay. That's like I said, it was really good. I liked it a lot. So if I could, I'm going to do the first 2 minutes, the opening through about 2.5 minutes. I'm going to do that,
Okay,
and we can talk about it on the other side.
sounds good.
Alrighty.
Blast. Little bit about myself. I was born on the summer solstice in the Bermuda Triangle during a lightning storm, which is how I avoid telling people I'm from Florida. But I'm living in Wilmington now, which is cool. We got little mini Hollywood here, right? Lots of film productions and stuff. I don't know if you look like a Facebook crowd. So you might have caught that cinematic masterpiece that circulated last year. It was the Three-Way outside of the Shuckin' Shack. Woo! Got a fan there? Yeah. I don't know. I'd expect that kind of behavior at a Long John Silver's, but yeah, I don't know if they clean the tables the next morning, but it's just weird because normally you don't go to a seafood restaurant to order the spit roast. And, they should definitely change the name of that place, don't you think? Like I was trying to come up with the other names, like, I don't know, what about Suck and Snatch? I could tell this gentleman here, he was imagining Fucking Shack, But like, that's the thing, I don't get paid the big bucks for low-hanging tuna fish. Yeah, I don't have any tattoos. I've been considering getting a tramp stamp of a QR code. So when a guy is back there, at least he gets some useful information. And bring up some menu options for our next destination. More likely, nearest Uber for his preferred destination. Or I could just have it pop up a picture of my face so he can look me in the eyes like I got dignity and self-respect.
That is so good. And I think that's the fourth time I watch it, and I still find it's still funny to me.
That joke's actually a lot longer now. Because like the Shuck and Shack thing, that like now I set it up where it's like living in Wilmington's cool because they got this whole Hollywood scene. I'm not going to say it's the best place to live, but have you seen Dawson's Creek? I'm sorry, Telemundo for white people. And then they had like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was shot here, which is cool because they didn't even have to, pay for costumes. They just told the actors to jump in the Cape Fear River, because it's polluted.
Oh,
jokes are funnier when you explain them afterwards. But then, like my favorite was always The Crow, because that proved to the world that Brendan Lee was the best method actor. And usually that gets a groan, and sometimes people shout out too soon, and I'm like, you guys are right. I shouldn't talk about the dead like that. That's kind of punching down.
Oh.
Well, unless they were cremated, then you're kicking ass. But then I go into the shuck and shack. Like I kind of lube up to the dirty part first before just like coming out the gate with it.
Like I said, that's like I said, I really love it, especially the QR code. This is one of those jokes where I could see if other lesser comedians, when I say lesser, I should say newer comedians, will hear that and go, I can do something with that QR code thing, and I could see it becoming like I'm trying to think, basically almost like a runaway punchline where somebody else steals it and then somebody else steals it and or refashions it, I'll say.
Don't give anybody any GD ideas. It's fun. I actually just recently got some temporary tattoo like printer paper and made little like cutesy QR codes that so I can actually put this tramp stamp on, and it has text at the top with an arrow that says just the tips.
Now, do those QR codes work? Those?
Yeah, it goes to my Venmo. So,
okay.
So after a show, if someone wants to give me a tip, like right here.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's good. That's very again very clever. Very good, man. So that was on a Wednesday night in Wilmington.
Yeah.
That's a good Wednesday night crowd.
It was not a big crowd, but they were very enthusiastic.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Small crowds that sound like big crowds are way better than 200 people staring at you like you just stepped off the mothership.
Yeah. Now, were you the headliner that night?
Yes.
Okay, so they were there to see you.
Not necessarily. Like, I mean, headliner as in going last and doing the most time, but
right.
Like the Gruff Goat comedy show, which, local booker comic Lou Morganti, shout out to Lou. He's been doing that room for, 7 years now. And,
okay.
But yeah, so it's every other Wednesday and it's just Gruff Goat. So, you never know what the lineup's going to be, but it's a free comedy show. Like,
got it.
Yeah.
Now, people who have a different and unique voice often have to find the audience, or actually their audience kind of like has to find them.
Right.
So is there a noticeable difference between the audiences that get you, like know you and understand your comedy, and the ones that, like that crowd, I guess half of them were there because they're like kind of like regulars? Is there a difference in the responses or their reactions, or have you noticed a difference?
That's a good question.
Thank you. That's why I get paid the no bucks.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Low hanging tuna fish. Yeah. It's interesting because obviously I'm in kind of a purplish state. I'm in a kind of blue dot in a sea of red, and I do a lot of shows out in the rural spots and in between the big cities, and those are always kind of like please don't get murdered tonight. Like,
right.
I do the killing, right? And, but I'm like constantly surprised, that I can go into a crowd that looks like hillbilly swamp people,
right?
And they just go fucking nuts. Or like I've done pride events where people just look very angry at me. So it's like you can never judge a book by its cover, I guess.
Yeah, I think I did. Not I think I did a set at a place in northern Florida. Can't remember the name
Like
of it, but
Panama City?
when I saw the name, it was I think it was near Tampa or just outside of Tampa because
Okay.
uh, I I just heard something on the radio and I said, oh, I got to do a story about that. I have to do this, and so I looked up on my phone for some place where I could an open mic, and I said, oh,
Mm.
there's one, and so it was in Tampa, and I said, okay, and I drive there, and I can drive and write at the same time. I don't look at the paper. I do is
Ah.
the paper is like this on my chair, and I
Mhm.
can write without looking. And then all I have to do is, and the lines are kind of squiggly, but all the notes are there.
It's
And so
like
when I got,
automatic writers that are channeling spirits and they meditate and they close their eyes and then some message pops. Like you ever like look at it and it's like, that is not my handwriting. I don't remember writing that joke, but I'm telling it.
well, it's, yes, so it's like this. I get there. Well, actually, when I saw the name, I went, oh my God, it's gonna be a bunch of rednecks there,
Mm,
rednecks, and I was already. I said, well, I'm doing it. I got to get this out of my system. And I
right.
arrived there, and it was the best crowd. It was like, and it was so good. It was like they were my people. It's like
Yeah.
I found my people, and often
Yeah.
some place that I didn't even know existed.
Right. Like
Yeah, so
that's the beauty of comedy, like it's a unifying thing. I mean, you get like, I love, really diverse mixed rooms,
yes,
like all ages, like the more diverse the better, because it's getting everybody on the same page is just fucking awesome. I love it.
it also opens up your repertoire when you have
Yes.
a really diverse thing. It's like you did a reference. Was it Dennis Hopper with the
Oh, yeah.
oxygen?
Yeah,
Um,
Blue Velvet that was also shot in Wilmington.
Blue Velvet, right? See, okay, oh yeah, that would help them also. Well, they might know that. It's like
Right.
being in Savannah and knowing uh, in the garden with the garden, midnight after garden, or something like that. That was shot
Mm,
in Savannah. They all know about in the Garden of Good and Evil
right.
in
Yeah.
Savannah. They would all know that, but maybe somebody who didn't go there might not get a reference. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Well, that crowd from that set leaned a little older, like my age and up, and
Oh, okay.
but yeah, like that reference. If I was at a college crowd, probably wouldn't have gotten it. Like
Yeah.
I used to tell this Back to the Future joke. It was what was it like something about if I get another DUI, I'll need to invest in a DeLorean or something. It's like in my first year or two. But I remember the first time like telling that joke to a bunch of college kids and them just like, what is she talking about? Like flux capacitors? What?
Then you got some physics student and they're going, actually, that's not how that works. If you ever really watch that movie, it wouldn't be 88 miles per hour. It'd actually be closer to 93.46, according to my calculations.
Closer to 186,000 miles per second, which is the speed of light.
But then when you went back in time, the Earth wouldn't be in the same space. So you'd be like out in the middle of the galaxy exploding because you have no oxygen and it's sub-zero temperatures.
Yeah.
So I did it early in my career. I didn't want to burn my material. So a lot of my
Hmm.
material was based on news articles because I needed to practice, but I didn't want
Right,
to
right.
burn my material because I was working on writing a special. Even though I'd only been doing comedy for like a couple of weeks, I knew I
Hmm.
wanted to write a special. But I
Right.
didn't want to burn the material, so I did something about the French shooting. I think at the news. There was a newspaper, something called Charlie or something like that. And anyway, I did the material about that, thinking, well, these are college kids. They're going to know what's going. They're going to know this. This is,
Yeah.
and my wife goes, I don't think they're going to get it. I said, are you kidding? They're college. This is a college town. They'll know what's going on. And she goes, you're giving college kids too much credit. And sure enough, she was right because I did that joke and it was like,
Yeah.
I was like,
Even the crickets would refuse to give you anything.
yeah, and the crickets probably would have enjoyed it because they would have probably knew more than the college students. So
that's it. Well, that's a curious thing, like about like burning material,
yeah,
which that's kind of like where do you land on that? Like, do you think if you like put your jokes out, like video clips and stuff like that, and there's still jokes that you tell in your set, you think if people come and see you live, they're going to be like, hey, I've heard that joke before. This is bullshit.
I have two. I'm of two minds of that. Because like you, I'm a storyteller as well. And so most of the stuff is like from my life.
Right.
And so not many people are going to be like stealing my material per se. Now I've had people steal premises, and
I don't think you can steal a premise
well, I'm
because it
saying like
depends on your perspective.
right. Well, I said what I mean by steal is like they hear it and then like the next week you see them is like they're writing material based on that. I'm not trying to say it in like in an angry way. It's just that it happens, but it's not like I own it.
Right. I've
But I
had
don't
people
worry.
like adopt like specific turn of phrases that
Right.
are not in common usage, and I'm like, I wonder where you heard that.
Yeah, and I've seen that. There was I've seen that quite a bit as well. Now, but like I said in the beginning, I was more paranoid about that, but only because I wanted people to see my special. I wanted people to watch it. And that's why I didn't want to burn the material. But if I did current events, it didn't matter because like in a week or two, it'd be old anyway because it's current events.
Right.
Unless you can find a way to refashion it because something else happened. It's like, something similar to this happened 5 years ago, blah, blah, blah,
Right. But then if you're writing a special, but then you're not testing out the jokes in the special when you're going out and about, like how are you making sure that they're any good by the time you're putting it on if you're just doing throwaway jokes every time you go to an open mic?
I use them, how should I put it? Okay. If I have let's say I have a joke, because basically what it is I'm telling a story. The story doesn't change. But the things I put in the middle to move it along might change or evolve.
Right.
I may have that phrase and craft it. Let's say the phrase is D, and I tell it at one bar, and I'll go A, B, C, D, E, F, and then I'll tell it at another bar, and I'll go G, F, E, D, C, B, A. Okay,
Right.
I still got the D. I'm still working on that D.
That's what she said.
I'm just catching that now. So I'm still working the D, but I'm putting it in different places, and that doesn't.
Thanks for the softballs pitch.
Yeah. But by the time I use it in the actual set, it will be again refashioned. The D will be right, but now it's in a different story, and so even if they heard it before, it'd be like it's a totally different context.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm also the mindset that like you did 30 minutes. I've watched it now 4 times. I could not the second time I watched it, I'm like, that sounds familiar. And even though I just watched it like maybe a couple of days before.
Right.
And that's how I think a show is. I think a show is most people aren't going to remember the whole show. They're going to remember bits and pieces that touched them at the time.
Yeah.
And so they can watch it again, and if they're in a different frame of mind, they'll get a different piece of it.
Exactly. Like it's like a good album or song, like you'll come back to it, like because you don't remember every single note or every single lyric or dynamic change or all of that. And
Right.
And I think with like spoken word, that's even trickier, especially if you're cramming in as many punchlines, like Russian nesting dolls, like
Yes.
like one of my buddies, great comic, Brian Granger, has been doing it for like 30 years or so. Like, yeah, he was like, yeah, he said it's I have like Easter eggs inside, like jokes inside of jokes inside of jokes.
Yes. And there's some jokes that I write literally just for myself. that I know only if you have an audience of 100 people, that only 5 or 6 are going to get it. But if those 5 or 6 get it, that's okay, because that's who it was meant for. Those 5 or 6 and myself.
Let me ask you, how long do you keep those jokes around in a set? Like if, because all of us have them. Like, oh, this one's for me. It makes me crack the fuck up, even if nobody else gets it. But then like you use it over and over again, and every time you tell it, it just sucks the air out of the room, and it's like, okay. Well, all right. What else do I got? And then, like, at a certain point, either you got that decision, like do I rework it? Do I try and make it work and land? Make it more accessible, or do I throw it out, or do I just keep doing it just because I'm a troll and I I don't care if they're having a good time or not.
Well, something like that. Again, it's only for a couple of seconds, and if
Right.
you know you're going to get the audience back.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, since I know I'm telling that joke, I know what's coming. My usual response is, okay, my people think that's funny. So, and that's it. And that's, I'm not, okay, my people think that's funny.
What do you
And then
mean, my people? Like,
yeah, well, let them,
you people.
let them
Which
figure out who
people?
my people are.
Which people are you talking about? People with dreadlocks, like video game programmers, like.
Let them figure that out. It's just to release the tension. They go like, oh, okay, it's people. Yeah. One guy be going like, oh, you mean niggers? So one guy's like, oh, you mean people with dread face? It's like, yeah, those people. Whatever those people are, whatever you think my people are, they get it.
The ones with the heads with the faces attached to them.
Right, the ones who breathe through their nose but don't drag their knuckles. So now, do you practice crowd work? I know you do it. I've watched it. You do crowd work, but is that something that you work on, or is it just natural because you're engaging?
Honestly, I think that video was like, up to that point, probably the most crowd work I had done in like a single set, because it's I don't like crowd work. Like, right. I wouldn't instigate it because it simulates my least favorite type of communication, which is small talk. Like,
right.
Oh, what do you do for a living? Never mind, I'm already bored. But if it's like in the moment, like if somebody blurts something out, and I don't want to just try and ignore them unless they're being disruptive. Right. Someone makes a snide comment, or someone chit-chatting at a table, you can plow through it at first, unless it's like a repeat behavior. Right. Then it's like, all right, we gotta nip this in the fucking bud. But a fun crowd, I don't want to ask anybody questions. I'm not trying to do a back and forth, but I like to make them feel like it's a two-way thing, but they're really just a sounding board to launch into the next joke.
Yeah, I like to say that I don't do crowd work, I do crowd control. Right. Because I don't want to ever give up control, because that's why they give me the mic to make. So I'm
amplified, motherfuckers.
That's right. I'm like Barney Fife or Don Knotts with the sheriff. I got this gun, damn it, don't make me, So I got this microphone, and I'm not going to give up control. But I understand that people need release. So I have some routines where it's interactive by design, but I know what the responses from the audience should be.
That's the right way to do crowd work.
Right. Yeah. So like I have a bit that I love to do. It's well, I don't remember. I actually don't remember what it's called, but basically it's about Juneteenth and why how to make Juneteenth a popular holiday. That's the whole premise. And so, and the premise is, in order for Juneteenth to become a popular holiday, you have to make it a drinking holiday, because all of our ethnic holidays that are popular are drinking holidays.
Yeah. Or you get Hallmark involved.
Yeah, Cinco de Mayo, drinking holiday. St. Patrick's Day, drinking holiday. So all those, 4th of July, drinking holiday. So all of those. So if you want Juneteenth to be a popular holiday, you have to have an alcohol sponsor. So what I do is I say, okay, if I say Cinco de Mayo, and I'll say, you drink, and then I'll like I don't know, and then they'll start yelling out tequila and Dos Equis.
Corona, yeah.
Right, and they start yelling out the drinks, and then I get the control back, and I say, if I say St. Patrick's Day, you think of this, say Killian's, whatever. Right, and I'll say, so if I want to sponsor for Juneteenth, then somebody yell out Colt 45, Hennessy, Crown Royal, but then I get them back, and then I start my material again.
Right. See, I'm usually just completely hammered out of my mind on Easter. Like during the day, they're looking for the eggs. I'm passed out in a bush. Like, what the hell is going on here? Why is there a big talking rabbit? Oh.
Now I do have a joke or a punchline that I've refashioned like 5 different ways, and I've used it over the years. Well, first of all, I started doing comedy when I was 55. So I do not expect to ever become famous, because by the time I've been doing comedy long enough to be famous, I'll be dead. So, or close enough to it that I won't even recognize that's me I'm watching on television.
Lewis Black started when he was like 50, and he's still going.
Yeah, but you watch him lately, he's kind of, I think he's
losing steam a little bit. But George Carlin never stopped.
Yeah, but again, that's depending on your...
He's dead, and he still released a special.
Yeah. And that pissed his daughter off, too.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to take for granted that my mental acuity will be, that'll be that sharp mentally then, because my humor depends on me being mentally sharp. I'm not like, I hate to say this, like, let's say an Andrew Dice Clay, where I'm just like, hickory dickory dock. It's like, no, I'm much more thoughtful than that. And so if I can't do that, I'm nothing, as far in my own mind anyway.
Yeah, but if you start like slipping into dementia or like Alzheimer's and like mentally regressing into like a childlike state, like if you can find the absurdity and the hilarity in that process, like Jeff Goldblum in The Fly, just documenting all of the changes, and never know, right?
Well, I'm working that material now. See, I'm anticipating that happening. So I'm working that material right now while I'm still young enough to do that material.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm half dead now, just physically speaking. Wait, what was I gonna say? Okay, well, that train just ran off the rails.
It's setting in. It's
Palestine, Ohio. Just.
It's already starting to happen.
I know.
All right, I'm going to hit the second clip, part 2 of 3.
Okay.
And again, I've already forgotten the name of the place again. The
Waterline Brewery.
Waterline Brewery.
Yep.
In Wilmington, North Carolina. Okay. This is another 2-minute clips from that set. Here we go.
Hell yeah.
You guys are a blast. Like, are we getting drunk tonight? Is that what we're doing? Woo! Drunk on a Wednesday. Yeah. My doctor says I need to quit drinking, though, because it's making me too awesome, and he's getting kind of jealous. That's not what he said. He said if I keep drinking, I'm going to get a fatty liver. And I'm like, well, that's cool. What about my ass? He's like, no, Steph, you're an alcoholic. I was like, are you sure about that? And then I remember getting so drunk at my 21st birthday party that I karate chopped my coffee table in half like IKEA. I think I have an odd tolerance to alcohol because I can have 1 an hour, drink all night, no problems, But if I start having 2 in an hour, then I'll just be at your place after last call, trying to rearrange all your furniture into a functioning speak and spell. I don't know. It's so bad. Like, I mean, I was almost abducted by aliens once, and they said I was too drunk to get on the spaceship. First of all, rude. I got to thinking about it, and I realized, they really are more advanced than us, because I never had a human tell me I was too shit-faced to get probed against my will. I will change my whole routine to let you catch your breath. Are we good? All right, well, somebody prepare the oxygen, because I still got 25 minutes.
I love that guy who goes, wait, was it the guy who says, wait?
Yeah, he was like falling out of his chair, just like, and he's like, old, the Facebook crowd. And then, that's when I did the Blue Velvet, like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was, I love reactions like that. To me, that's even better than laughter.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the laughter's great, and that's what we're there for. But then you hear that one thing that either they repeat the punchline or, like in this case, wait.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorites was, I heard one lady went, I think I just peed. I said, that's it. I love you. Change, but I love you. Go change.
There was this one time, and I never get tired of just flat out boasting about it, because it's basically like the gold medal in comedy, and I've just been chasing this dragon ever since. But I was doing like a 20-minute, and but I got a spit take from the bartender, like the spit take over the bar, and then afterwards, like the opening act, she told me that she peed a little at one of the jokes, and I was like, "Oh, do you remember which one?" And it was the same joke that the bartender spit take. That's so I made the opener pee her pants and got a spit take, and I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" Now I just need somebody to like pass out and hyperventilate, or where do you go from there?
Yeah. And the weirdest thing is, those are the moments that like 15, 20, 30 years from now doing comedy that will still stick out in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be like you get, if there was like an award for comedy, like there is for records or acting and stuff, that there was like the silver tongue or the golden gaff or guffaw.
The Mark Twain Award, you mean?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Or I don't know. I think one of the best rewards of being a comedian is not dying of an overdose in a hotel room. if you make it through that, then you're golden.
Yeah, but the Mark Twain is for like an individual, like lifetime, right?
Right. Yeah.
I'm thinking of like an annual thing. Like I said, like the Golden Guffaw, whatever it is for comedy. And just when you get that award, that's the thing that you're thinking there, and it's like, wow, this is for all those people who peed themselves, who yelled, wait, this is yours, because you kept me going through all those nights when I wanted to really hate myself for what I was doing for a living. You three people kept me going. Thank you.
Or this is to the black guy in the audience who laughed so hard he had to get up out of his chair and run a lap and sit back down.
Which I did not know was a real thing. I forgot. I'll take that back. I forgot it was a real thing. Because I used to see it on YouTube or TikTok or something, and I'm like, that's not real. I'm black. That's not real. And then I forgot when I was 8 years old. No, not 8. Yeah, I was 8 years old. I did that. I actually did the running thing. We all went, oh, and ran back to our homes. We were in the middle of the street, and we ran back to our houses. I'd forgotten that. It's like, oh my God, I guess I am black. I did do that. Man. So
maybe I should learn some magic tricks for when I'm like entertaining in a black room. Like
now, do you have any rituals that you perform during comedy to get you in the mindset? And if so, have they evolved over the years? And are they the same rituals that you had back when you were doing music?
Oh, well, I like to make a special tea, mix in shrooms and the blue juice from a magic 8 ball. And then while I'm waiting for that to kick in, I light some candles and incense around a heavy Ouija board on the floor and a bloody pentagram. And then once the walls start breathing, I pick up the board over my head and bash it, like I pick it up and I scream out to the comedians that died before me and then bash myself until I fall into a wistful slumber. And
Oh, okay. Now,
yeah.
are these comedians the ones that died from suicide, or are these the ones that lived, the four that didn't commit suicide that died of old age or something?
Yes. No, but no, actual pre-show rituals like like not so much really, because I've been on stage performing since I was like 12 years old.
Okay.
I started my first band and we were like doing college gigs and um like I don't know, like I used to, when I was starting out, and I was going off a very rigid like set list, like these have to connect this way and this goes into this, and my segues are very specific, and all of that stuff. I would run the set, a couple times before going up, but like nowadays, like I like to chit chat with the other comics, hang out, like nurse a beer, watch the other acts, and just do what I normally do, and don't even don't think about it. And until it's like, oh, I'm going on stage, cool, like I'm surprised to be there.
Well, me tonight? Oh, I had no idea. Let me get
All the dick jokes for you.
I just happen to have this set list in my pocket.
Yeah. Just go on for like an hour and a half.
So in your circle of friends or family, who's the hardest one to make laugh, so that when you made them laugh, you've got comedy gold?
It's an interesting question. I don't know. My family's pretty easy to make laugh because we're all clinically deranged. Like friends, like I don't know. I tend to surround myself with people that are good humored. So like I don't. If there was someone that's just always just like blankly staring, whenever I'm telling jokes, then I don't know how much longer they'd stick around, or I'd stick around, or I mean, I have some friends that like they're hard to get to like laugh out loud, but they're just they're laughing on the inside types, which like a lot of my audience is.
Right.
It's actually a line I use, like if a joke doesn't land, I'll be like, oh, that's cool, you guys are laughing on the inside, I get it.
My next door neighbor, he has to drive past my house to come or go to his drive. We have like a communal driveway.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has to drive by my house, and I was in the front yard doing yard work, and he drove by and he stopped, and we were chit-chatting, and I made a comment to him that I know was not like ha funny, but it was amusing, and I know it was amusing. And I said it to him, and he says, just so you know, I don't laugh on the inside. And I thought that was hilarious. And I started laughing out loud, and he didn't get the joke. He didn't get the humor why I was laughing. And I said, because you said you don't laugh on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
No, you didn't laugh. You wanted me to know.
Yeah, so, yeah. I don't find you amusing whatsoever.
Yes. And he didn't get it. And the really funny thing is he didn't remember saying it. Mm-hmm. And he and I were in like maybe 3 or 4 social settings, and I would mention it each time when we're laughing at something. I said, and this is what he said to me, and everybody laughs, and he goes, I really don't remember saying that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so that's even better. It's like you didn't think it was funny. You're really funny when you didn't think it was funny, and you don't even remember being that funny.
Interesting. Maybe he's also on the spectrum.
Well,
Oh,
I'm not going to answer that because if he watches this, he may cut me out of the TV show that he put me in.
oh no.
So,
So I did kind of come up with an answer to your question. Like,
okay.
uh, I cannot help myself. I have to try and get you know, people that have some sort of power or authority, or like if I could get the lady at the DMV to start laughing, or
Okay,
the
yeah.
receptionist at the doctor's office, or the clerk in the grocery store that's just like,
Yes.
like it's not that I'm like always on because like I need the attention. It's just like, oh, they're probably having a shitty time. Maybe I can shake them up a little.
Yes.
And
Yes.
those are often like the most rewarding laughs, because you see that change, you brighten someone's day, which is awesome.
There's my wife and I when we go to the supermarket. She says that that's like where I practice my open mic material, but it's not. It's
Yeah.
just me. It's just me being me,
Yeah.
and it's the same thing. It's like you people see these people who have these jobs that they're doing day in day out. And you can see on their faces they could use a good laugh,
Hmm.
and it's not like I have a joke. It's just I find something in the situation that I could, like I was getting lunch meat, and the lady says to me, how would you like that meat cut? And I said, oh, you can use that same cutter that you use for all the other meat. It's fine. You don't
Right.
have to get it. And she just laughed. And then the lady behind me laughed. And so my wife and I were standing in line checking out. And one of the ladies that was behind me at the counter, behind me, waiting to be served, taps me on the shoulder. She says, I really needed that laugh. Thank you so much.
Hmm.
That meant a lot to me, you know.
Hell yeah. Well, what's really fun though is when you give it your best shot and you get nothing, just like it almost like irritates them even more, and it's like, oh, you're really like you're working at the DMV because you're Satan, and this is like your paradise, making other people suffer.
I want you to suffer the way I suffered during my first 3 marriages or whatever it is. Now,
I didn't become an accountant so I could laugh.
now, so far, what is the best and worst advice you've been given in comedy?
Let's see. Best advice early on was probably slow the fuck down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because like I would just talk too fast, and I tend to have a lot of college words, and like and it's like or you step on like punchline or step on laughs and things like that, and
Right.
and actually the best version of that I got from Aussie British comedian Steve Hughes. I
Okay.
had him on my podcast a couple of years ago, and like his form of crowd control that he would use at these rowdy open mics, like in Australia, where everybody's just drunk and blah, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
like he's like just go up and just hold the mic and just stand there, just stare at them, and people start stopping what they're doing, and they're looking at like, what the fuck's he on? Right? He's, it's like he's not afraid. He's not afraid. Well, shit, we can't listen to this cunt, right? and, but that like using silence, like proactively is just a game changer. Um, like worst advice, that's a tricky one. Worst. I might have just like deleted that from my memory banks.
It's like I'll never use it any fucking way.
Yeah, like
I wish I had it now because somebody just asked me. Now I wish I had it.
Was it like I heard a story of like one of the A-lister comics? I think it was shit. Was it like Chris Rock who told them, or somebody was like, oh yeah, you should just go up and tell nothing but dick jokes, like for your whole set. Like that'll kill. Everybody loves dick jokes, and they actually did it and bombed. But yeah, that's bad advice. Well, I did have someone tell me on the business side, on the professional side, like, when you're hanging out with other comics, like you shouldn't tell like sex type jokes or play around like being like flirty-ish or whatever, because that'll give you a bad reputation and people talk and it makes people uncomfortable. And I'm like, oh, I think you're telling me that just because I'm trans and
right.
You have this idea, like you're insecure, I think you're attracted to me, but you're straight and that confuses you. And so you're just trying to shut me down altogether. But, because we're fucking comedians, nothing's off the table. Everybody's joking about everything all the time. And if you're taking it seriously, then I think, that's a you problem. So I think
that was the impression. That was the impression I got while you were saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me see. Here's a softball question, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Comedy influences.
Oh. Well, I think I was about like 7 or 8 when my family first got cable, and one of George Carlin's specials was on HBO. So that was the first time I remember seeing stand-up comedy. And, I was an extremely shy, like shut-in autistic kid, and so like seeing someone just command an audience and just having them all, respond that way. And he's just saying, just like speaking truth to power and all that, I was just mind blown, like, whoa, you can do that? That's amazing. So yeah, Carlin and Pryor were early influences. I watched so much Comedy Central, like in the 90s, like Dave Attell, Patton Oswalt, Emo Phillips is one of my all-time favorite joke writers. Yeah, that's a tough question. Like, there's just so much talent out there.
Now, are there any comedians?
Favorite...
comedians that if somebody watched your set, they might go, somebody who knows comedy would say, that's an homage to so and so.
I once had Orlando Jones bring me on stage. He introduced me as, because I'd done shows with him before this, and he said if Mitch Hedberg was reincarnated as an alien goth chick, and I thought that was very
well, Mitch Hedberg, because Mitch Hedberg himself, very, very funny comedian.
Yeah,
and really socially awkward.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I used to be more heavy, like more setup punch, like one-liner after one-liner that weren't necessarily connected in any way. And so, but I wasn't intentionally trying to emulate or homage to anybody. But yeah, I'm not sure. I have been told that I'm really similar to Norm Macdonald, which is interesting because I hadn't watched. I knew him from SNL, and I'd see some of his stuff, but once somebody told me that, I started watching a bunch of his specials, and I'm like, oh shit, he was autistic too.
Now, were you already doing comedy when you found out you were autistic, or had?
No, I had just kind of got the diagnosis as an adult, and so when I was about 37, which is
Okay.
around the same time, I started comedy not too long after that.
Okay. Now, did that make, because in a way, finding out you're autistic kind of lets you backtrack, but it almost like you have a different childhood because you have a different frame of reference. It's like I grew up this way, and now that now that I know this, my whole childhood has changed.
It's like now I have a roadmap. Like,
Yeah.
hey, that person in 1994 was being sarcastic.
I'm going to take this opportunity to play part 3. Now, if you're listening or watching this, just so you know, all 3 of these parts are like where one stops, the next one begins. It's continuous. So if you watch this again without me in the middle, you can see all 6 minutes without the interruptions, and it'll make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, maybe you're slow. No, I'm just teasing.
Maybe you've got dementia.
That's right.
Or a heroin problem, or I don't
each
know,
one of these
whatever
2
your
minutes should stand alone.
impairment might be.
All right, here's part 3.
Yay.
That's that Facebook crowd. Facebook crowd, yeah. Dennis Hopper and Blue Velvet. That's funny. But every time I try to quit drinking, like I try to cope by smoking more weed, it's like, and I don't know. People say, silver linings, you're not spending all your money on Ubers and, booze and shit, but yeah, that's bullshit. It just means I don't have a social life, and then I have too much money to spend on virtual reality. I can assure you there's nothing more embarrassing than getting caught masturbating while wearing an Oculus headset. Playing Minecraft. You've heard how people say that different liquors affect your personalities differently, right? It's like, oh, well, when I drink a martini, I become a sophisticated chauvinist. Yeah, well, when I drink tequila, I'll puke in Spanish.
Now, that sounds a nice applause break to end on. Now, just out of curiosity, how many drinks did you go through before you landed on tequila and barfing and puking in Spanish?
The martini, sophisticated chauvinist, tequila, puke in Spanish. That's just how I wrote it the first time, verbatim.
Oh, okay. Great job. Because sometimes, I know there are things that I write, and if I'm doing like a product or something, I'll shop. I'll kind of like shop it and go like, okay, last time I tried it with Scotch. This time I try it with bourbon. Or I'll try it and then see what sounds funny or what works. But you got that on the first shot. That's great.
The opening to that joke, that whole, because I texted you like, maybe we could pick a different clip, but then you just remind me you have them all in a sequence,
right?
And because it opens up on the biggest flub and mistake of the entire set, one of the biggest flubs I've made live on tape anywhere in
the money.
Quite a while.
Yeah.
There's the money Mooney, but that was because I had totally fucked up, because I had started, I had this whole thread from older sets, where I go from drinking and I had a whole cluster of weed jokes I used to do, so just out of old habit, I started onto the weed joke, but the weed joke thread, and I was in my head, wait, why am I telling this fucking joke? Like, it wasn't even a good one to begin with. It's like, which, if you want to hear the original, it's like, it's like, I try to cope by smoking more weed. So now when I sweat, instead of smelling like gin, I smell like sage and patchouli. But yeah, so instead what happened was I'm like, yeah, so every time I quit drinking, I try to cope by smoking more weed. And then my brain is like, abort, abort. And then I was like, all right. And then, yeah, which means that how am I threading this needle right fucking now? Like, okay, we're going into the Minecraft VR, okay. And then I was just kind of like, and just, but it was a jazz accidental, right?
Yeah. It's funny. One of the things I think I did actually have a co-host in the very beginning. It didn't work out, but the whole premise of when I started doing this was I wanted young comedians to learn from our mistakes,
right?
And because when we've been doing it for a while, when you're experienced, quite often you make it look the experienced comedians make it look so easy, and the younger guys don't get it. It's not that easy. You work at it hard, and you work at the craft, and so I used to ask that people would bring their first sets if they had them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a comedian who started comedy, he's been doing comedy for like 40 years.
Right.
And there's like no recording of his first set. Matter of fact, the first recording he has is when he was on television. So like that's the oldest thing he's got. He's on television. So I got this old piece of his, and it's like I said, he still kind of tore it apart because it's like 30 something years old. He can still tear it apart.
Right.
But still, get your television. And it was so well done, so well polished. But your first set, there's mistakes in it. Even if it goes like really, really well, there's stuff you go like cringe and go like, I can't believe I said that back then. Ooh.
Oh yeah. Well, I cringed too because it was right at the beginning of my transition. So I like see my first set and I'm like, that doesn't even look or sound like me at all. It's like watching a completely different person, telling me my old shitty jokes.
Yeah, and some people, they like I have a look that I try to have on stage for almost everything. I have a look. Mm-hmm. Part of it so I don't have to think about how I'm going to look. I don't have to think about what I'm going to wear. It's like it's always one of my shirts. It's always black pants,
right.
And that's it. Because I don't like to think about stuff like that. Do you have a look that you try to maintain on stage, or is it no? This is I got my hair done this week, so this is how it's going to look this week, or whatever.
Yes, no, like, I mean, I kind of always look the same like I don't have different types of outfits for different situations. It's always, I guess I would describe my look as a wicked bitch of the West. Usually have like stripy, like witchy socks on, and then just general goth shit.
Okay. I mean, I even have like the shoes that I wear. When I found the shoes that I like to wear on stage, I bought 3 pair. So they would, because I only wear them on stage, they would last a long time. That's how anal I am about that. It's like even the same shoes, the same, the same. When I find the pants, I got like 5 pairs of those pants. 5 of those shirts.
I know a comic like that. Shout out to Paul Kelly, who's been doing it. He came out of retirement. Once he moved to town and then he's got bored hanging in the beach all the time and started doing it again. But yeah, same thing. Like once he finds a lucky shirt, that's his lucky shirt that he wears every time he's getting paid to perform. Right. And like he said, the one time he deviated from it, worst set of his life.
Well, I can have the worst set having my best clothes. That doesn't matter.
Right. It's not a superstitious thing. It's a practical thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Having the look gives me one less thing to think about. One less thing that can go wrong. That's all that does.
Right.
because I used to dance, and when I used to dance, I do splits, and so all the pants that I had to be able to do a split in the pants,
Right.
right? Yeah, I had to do a
Without the
successful
pants
split wearing the
splitting.
pants without splitting the pants.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
yeah.
Skinny jeans aren't going to work.
No, no. So every pair of pants I wore, and this is for the longest time, had to be split friendly.
Right.
But as I got older, I wasn't even split friendly, so that I didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you see me doing a split on stage, call the doctor
Right.
immediately. I'm
Yeah.
not getting up.
Just schedule the hernia operation right now.
And just call right now. Just get a wheelchair, crutches, something. I'm not getting up.
um, wait, so that's wait, so you were video game programmer, dancer,
Well, male stripper.
musician.
Yeah.
Oh, male. Oh, okay. That's funny because I was thinking breakaway pants when you said dancer. That's what came to mind. So,
Yeah.
get off my page. Yeah, and then you played guitar in a funk band, and then pivoted to comedy.
Yeah.
And me, I went from music to video game design, back to music for a bit, and then pivoted to comedy. Never was a stripper though.
It's always time. This time.
Oh yeah, well, it's probably not a lot of strip clubs into my type of women.
Alex, I'm in my 60s now, and my wife and I, for a short time, lived in Florida. And and at the time, I didn't have a job. And she said, "Well, you could always, like, go back to stripping." I'm like, "Yeah." And in Florida, I'd be doing the senior circuit. That's it.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, a lot of life alerts going on. And bring the oxygen. Which, by the way, that Dennis Hopper Blue Velvet thing, that was just in the moment off the cuff. And call back to the guy that kept at the beginning was like, hold on, I can't breathe, let me catch my breath, and but I didn't even think about it consciously that movie was filmed right here in Wilmington.
Right.
So it's like, oh, that's a happy accident.
Yeah, that's a good thing, because having the local connection, because someplace else may not have gotten that reference. You may have thought of it and go like, okay, sorry. If we were one state over, you'd have gotten it.
Yeah. Or if we were old enough to remember, or hipster enough to be like big David Lynch fans.
Oh yeah.
But that's not how that joke ends.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Because the whole premise is, they say different liquors affect your personality,
right?
But I don't believe that, because I think it's the company you keep, like who you're hanging out with. Because you've gone to a Catholic mass, drink the red wine, and then you just wake up a few hours later with a priest in your mouth, and he's mumbling something in Latin, like no homo, no homo.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm not Catholic.
Yeah, that's if I'd kept that going for like 2 more minutes, we'd have gotten it in. But yeah, it was a good applause break. That was
That's fair.
Yeah, I try to end things on a good applause break if they have them. I mean, I've gotten clips where there were no applause breaks. I'm like, I'm really sorry, guys.
What are the names? I want to watch those episodes. You don't have to see it now. You can text it to me.
Oh yeah, that was a good applause break, and I still love the fact that the guy yells, "Wait, wait, wait, wait."
Yeah,
that's got to be something. Like, that's got to be one of the moments that you just hold on during the dark times when comedy isn't going great. You go like, I remember that guy with the weight guy. Did you talk to them by chance? Did you have an interaction with the people after the show?
Oh yeah. We had beer, and I was chatting with pretty much everybody, because it wasn't a huge crowd that night. And very just kind of down to earth, like a little older guy. Just wasn't expecting anything. It's a free comedy show on Wednesday, so.
Now, is there anybody that can be sitting in the audience that would make you nervous?
Yeah, like neo-Nazis, Klansmen, someone's up in the front row with a big red hat, like,
Oh,
it's, yeah, a little nervous, but, I mean, we haven't devolved into this so far that, people are getting murdered on stage, right?
no, not murdered yet. But
I mean, there was that guy that tried to stab Chappelle.
But he probably had it coming. Let me stop. I'm just teasing. I don't know. I don't remember all of the details. So
Right.
No, well, actually, when I asked that question, I was thinking in terms of people from your inner circle, or family, friends, whatever that could make you nervous, or even somebody from the past. Somebody you used to date, and all of a sudden you got material that you're doing. It's like, ooh, they're going to think this is about them.
Not so much. Like I did a show once at the VFW building, and I had like 3 generations of my family that, of course, decided to sit front row center.
Oh.
And I had a joke about autofellatio, and I said, like, yeah, the act after me, he was, shout out to Brad. Like, he had his arrest papers, and he was, his whole opening bit was how he had to go and turn himself into jail tomorrow. Like, this was his last show before turning himself in. And he was like, I thought I had some edgy material until Steph came up here and talked about sucking her own dick in front of 3 generations of her family.
What you said? Now this is okay. I'm the only person I know who's done that, suck their own. But you were able to do that?
Yoga class. That was the name of the joke. Yeah.
Oh, I was sick. And I just did it out of curiosity because somebody said to me to do it. I was a teenager.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, like hormones, puberty, everybody, people do all kinds of weird shit figuring things out. It's like, so what? You fucked the couch. I mean, that's pretty much everybody. It's weird when you deny it. Like, hey, who's making up stories about me having?
Don't you believe that cow? That lying cow's a slut.
Yeah, that's it.
Heifer. That heifer.
Once I get into power, I'm reforming the Ottoman Empire.
And sheep will have no rights. Yeah, don't buy, don't tell. No, sorry.
Yeah, tax breaks for upholsterers.
Oh man, that's now. I'm not gonna lie. I've been a little bit depressed lately because I'm diabetic, but I've been able to take care of it without medication. And my last physical, my doctor says, nope, you're going to put you on metformin. And metformin, I had it like 3 years ago. I was on it 3 or 4 years ago. And I swore that metformin was Latin for stay near a bathroom.
Oh, shit.
And so, yeah. Yes. Yes. That is exact yes. And now I'm back on it. It's like, today's my first day taking. I was like, am I even going to make it through this interview?
Right, just keep a shop vac handy.
Yep. But so today I went to pick it up and today, like, for the people out there, today is December 26th, and I'm standing in line, and there's like a long line at the pharmacy, a long line.
Wait, it's the 20? Oh, it is the 26th. Oh shit.
So I'm standing in line at the pharmacy, and I said, so is this where you redeem your gift cards for drugs? And nothing. People looked around now. The pharmacist did laugh. Well, he smiled. He was wearing one of those masks that you wear during COVID. He was wearing a mask, and I saw his cheekbones go up and his eyes, so I know he reacted. But everybody else just looked at me. And then this lady, she walks by as she's leaving, and she goes, "That was very funny what you said." And I said, I thought to myself, no, I said, well, nobody laughed. And she goes, oh, she goes, I laughed, and I'm thinking, oh, on the inside,
Right.
but I know it was funny. I mean, do you have
Follow
something?
me on Instagram, ma'am. I'll be here all week.
Yeah, well, as long as that line was, I thought it was going to be. Do you have material that you know is good that just doesn't get the response you want yet? And I'm saying yet because, we're talking the way we talked earlier about if something's not working, maybe changing it. But some things are really good.
Well,
and you tweak it until you find out what's not working about it.
Like something that I'm currently working on that haven't got to pop. Not off the top of my head, like, because I kind of just if I keep trying it over and over and it's just not landing, instead of banging my head against the wall, I'll just put it on the back burner. And then when I'm going through like old material, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that one was fun. Why did I stop telling it? Oh, because nobody laughed at it. Right. Okay, well, let's do it at the open mic again tonight. And, just sometimes just that change in tone, works it out.
Right, or the thing that you say before and after it, or like you're sandwiching it in the middle of a bit, so that maybe by itself. I mean, I've had things that I know were good, but on their own, it's like, it needs more explanation or something. So now instead of a joke unto itself, now it's a callback.
Yeah.
And now it's really funny as a callback.
Or you strip it out and it becomes a tag for a similar joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so yay, dead air. Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, and I don't have like my joke notes with me. Like
now, how do you keep notes? Do you have a joke book, or do you have a spreadsheet? I'm a spreadsheet kind of guy.
Yeah, like I have just a bazillion Google Docs, and and then every once in a while, when I'm feeling like organization, I'll put the links into my master spreadsheet, and then never look at it.
Now that's when I have each year I start a new catalog of jokes that I'm using or working on, and then I keep track of when I use them and where. And eventually I'm going to put stars in there so I know how it was received at that place.
Right.
But it's only because like I'm not famous where I'm going to be doing like 100 different clubs.
Right.
I may do 4 different clubs, and I'll do them several times in a year. So I keep track of, okay, I've done this there. I won't do this there again. Something else. But it's a spreadsheet. I don't have I don't get joke books. I don't get them. I see them.
Yeah, like well, I had a major house fire, so the idea of like all my important stuff on paper sounds ludicrous. Shout out to Ludacris.
Great comedian. Great comedic actor. Now, see, I didn't prepare more questions because I pretty much burnt through all of them except for the one about the family. About somebody making you nervous in the.
Like people say that I'm like they appreciate how fearless I am on stage, and I'm like, I don't know if that's what that is. Like I just kind of have never cared.
Okay.
It's just I just blurt shit out. That's just how I am. And it's like, why did you say that, Steph? That was so inappropriate. I'm like, oh, it was? Oh, my bad. Sorry.
I'll make a note. So when I say it next time, I can expect someone to say that because I'll say it again.
Yes, setting.
Now, I'm trying to think here. Do do you have like a wish list of one or two, maybe one or two comics that you would love to open for?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'd love to open for Patton Oswalt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Emo Phillips. Um,
Oh, yeah.
I was apparently I was going to open for. I was going to feature for Eddie Pepitone, and then that he had to cancel.
Mm.
And he's great. Dave Attell. Oh yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, there's a lot, but at the same time, there's also the, like, well, they say don't meet your heroes. It's like,
Yeah, yeah. I've been fortunate in the sense that for the most part, when I've met them, they've been really, really kind.
yeah,
Um, I'm trying to think. But he wasn't a hero. He was just a very important guy. Wasn't one of my heroes. And then once I met him, he really was a dick.
oh, who was that? Name
Oh,
drop.
no, it was Jesse Jackson,
Oh yeah.
Reverend Jesse Jackson. Uh, Now I had met him and Dick Gregory. I was actually I was a teenager, and I was Dick Gregory's valet for that show.
Mhm.
Whatever he needed, water, drinks, I was the one. I ran and got it,
Right, right.
and I didn't know what to say to him, so I was so nervous. And whenever I'm nervous, I I say things that people interpret as jokes, and to me, I'm just trying to keep people off balance. I don't want them to know that I'm scared or nervous.
Right, right.
And he goes, "You're so funny. You're so funny." And I wasn't trying to be funny. I was just trying not to piss my pants in front of Dick Gregory.
Mhm.
But Jesse Jackson was such a dick. Oh.
Really?
And I met him several times after that, and he still was a dick.
Like how so? Just dismissive and short with you, or was he like
dismissive, short, and it's also like his shit doesn't stink.
right, right,
And it's like,
holier than thou?
yeah, it's like I was there when Martin Luther King got shot, so I'm better than you. It's like, well, if their aim was a little bit better, we'd have been better. I'm sorry.
I did do a weekend opening up for Sam Talent, who,
Oh, okay.
yeah, just one of the funniest writers out there, and just like a really warm, super sweet guy. Like just spent so much time with every single person that came up to him after the show, and had a blast in the green room. And yeah, when we were saying goodbyes, big hug, and I was like, they say to never meet your heroes, but I've had a blast this week. And then he's like, "Oh no, I'm not a hero. Please, I don't want to be anybody's hero."
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you know what I mean. And then after I was like later that night, I was like, wait a second, I think I'm like 5 or 6 years older than he is. Is that kind of weird? It's like
Yeah. I'm in my 60s, and some of the quote heroes I have are younger than I am.
Mhm.
And I don't like to say heroes because I don't really have any heroes, but I do have people who I really respect what they've done with the craft. I mean, really.
Right, that's what I mean by
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I just the clarification for people out there. Yeah, some people are just so good at what they do that make what we do look really, really easy.
Yeah.
But it's not that easy. We're not exactly astronauts, where there's only so many people have been around the Earth and on the moon, but what we do is not that easy.
Yeah, it's hypnotism. Hypnotism with dick jokes. Crowd control without the pepper spray.
It's like, yeah, watch the penis. You're getting sleepy.
Hey, now that is a magic show I would go to. I bet they have those in Bangkok.
Now, has any new shows opened up for you since we talked? Or you picked up any new shows or?
Yeah, like I've got a couple things around North Carolina, and but I just opened up for um, political satirist and activist, and just madman vermin supreme.
Okay.
You familiar with the boot on his head? He's like
Not
running
yet.
for
No.
political office almost every chance he could get. Like I first saw him on the news in like the 90s when he was running for president, on a platform of free ponies for everyone, and we're going to update the power grid with zombie power and the latest in hamster wheel technology. And it's just like punk rock and just absurdist and just yeah, a huge blast. And he had mentioned like on social media, like he was kind of scouting out for some opening acts to do a tour of the state of Florida. And I was like, oh, that's like my worst fear, like having to go back to my home state. Like, and, but I was like, you know what, fuck it. Like, I need to get around more. And so I followed up with him, and after the show, and we were hanging out and chatting, and I was like, yeah, I would love to tour Florida with you, even though I'm not too clear on the legality of me being able to piss in my own state, but make it work. And so fingers crossed.
Well, I will prefer you're pissing in your own state than the way they're pissing on your state. So
Yeah, well, it's been a shithole for a long time. I mean, it kind of the Spanish messed it up, back in the 1400s.
yeah, but I thought by now some of it would have been fixed.
Yeah, I know. Well, we'll just throw meth gators at the problem. Yeah, yeah. We need more boa constrictors in the Everglades. That's what we need.
I mean, when my wife and I lived down there, there's two things that, first of all, I'm not crazy about living in any state when there's a flood, there's a chance there's a gator going to be swimming down your street.
Oh, yeah. Unless
Know.
you're good at hunting gator and you like the taste.
Oh, yeah, but even still, if there's, let's say, I don't know how many gators you can actually legally shoot in Florida, and under what circumstances. But if they're swimming down your street, you're going to pass your quota. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, now it's more restricted because the boas are eating them. Like they were endangered when I was growing up, so there was like a lot of heavy restrictions on gator hunting.
Right.
But then the population bloomed again, and then people started getting boas as pets and pythons and shit, and
Yes.
that's what it is. Not boas. It's
pythons. They're setting them free.
And they're just fucking eating everything in sight. So you can shoot python. You're encouraged to kill pythons on sight, but I don't think you're supposed to. Yeah, leave the gators alone.
Of course, that's going to make it really difficult for John Cleese and Eric Idle to have a reunion in Florida if they're allowed to shoot pythons like that. But I don't
Where's the gun? God damn it, Fenderson.
Always look on the bright side of life. No, sorry.
And might want to cut that part out. You don't want to get sued.
Oh, are you kidding? You know what that would do for my ratings? Now, what do you remember about the first time you took the stage doing comedy?
Oh, well, I dragged along a group of friends, and they all sat in the front row, and I was dead last at the open mic, which there was I think 30 people signed up that night, and I was just thinking, just remember, your jokes. Just tell your jokes, and just, they should be good enough to like just. I was just hyper fixated on the recitation of them, and was it? I think the first joke I ever told was. If you want to hear it, it's not great,
Sure.
but yeah, no, it's still my opener. So I'm Irish and Cherokee, which means, I kind of won the genetic roll of the dice because I got cheekbones to die for. I get to have the lifelong crutches, crippling alcoholism, and well, the obvious one I still get to pass is white. You can cut that out if you want. it's a really, yeah, but yeah. So I did all right. I mean, I did pretty well. Like, actually, I spilled beer on myself as I was walking up to the stage. So like the first thing I said was like, I got beer in my eye, and that got a laugh right away. And then after I got off stage, the host made a beeline right to me, like, that was great. How long have you been doing it? And I was like, well, that was my first time. And he was like, no shit, get out of here. And so I left.
So anything from that first time you took the stage that you would refurbish and go, wait, something? I look at it now that I look back at this with hindsight, I actually can refurbish that and make that really, really good.
Yes, I would have had boobs instead.
Okay. Now, see. Now, as a general thumb, do you find the way people treat you once they find out that either you're because of the autism or because you're transgender, do they treat you any differently, or do you find navigating the world of comedy actually, how do you find navigating the world of comedy?
Ugh, that's a can of worms a little bit. So when I started transition around the same time as I started comedy, and right out the gate, I was like, I don't want to talk about this on stage. This is just, I don't want to do identity comedy, right? But as I progressed, it was like, there's an elephant in the room. I'm not, I kind of got to address it. And I used to, back to some bad advice, but you'll read this in like comedy books or whatever, like start off with addressing, like the obvious, right? So then people aren't distracted by it. And so I would, tell some jokes and just like out myself immediately, which very often would just like split the room for the rest of my set. Like people would just be like, oh, fuck this training, I'm tuning out. Like I remember one time I was doing a set out in Bumblefuck, and there's like these two construction worker guys that, still wearing work clothes. They got paint and shit all over them. They're sitting like front row, like front table. Like I'm just like 5 feet away from them. And, first couple of jokes, they're laughing, they're having a good time. And as soon as I mentioned I'm trans, one of the guys like turned beet red and just clenches its jaw and his fist, and then just turns like this and spends the rest of my 20-minute set just staring at the wall like, it's like, wow. And so eventually, like, I moved it all to the big reveal, like what is it? You guys seem cool. I feel safe enough to pull the pin on this grenade,
Yeah.
And by then, people are so emotionally invested that, like, I found it safer to do it that way. And a lot of the time, surprising, people that, I've had people come up to me and say like, I came in here thinking that I hated trans people, but, like, you were fucking hilarious. Like, and we'll talk, and it's like, oh, you're just a normal person. And it's like, yeah, no shit. I mean, normal, but yeah. It's like,
as normal as anybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
But I have had some struggles with like bookers.
Right.
You know, like I've sent out like tape and my resume and bio and everything, and like I had a booker in South Carolina who was like, "Oh wow, this is impressive," like I'm excited to have you at the show. But then I guess he must have watched my whole set because then he kicked me off the show, blocked me on Facebook, and ghosted me in email and everything. Just you know. And I had another venue where it was like a open mic as a way to like if you kill, then they'll bring you back as for the showcase.
Right.
And I killed, and they were like, well, yeah, that's great, but we can't book you because of the whole trans thing, and it's like, oh, that's very. It's very 21st century of you guys, fucking rednecks.
Man, that's like I said, I just like people who can tell a story that I can't tell. So I love your comedy. I think you're hilarious.
Oh, thank you.
And I know a lot of people say things like, that person was funny for and then fill in the blanks. I'm like, no, you're just fucking funny to me.
Right? Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's pretty funny for a retard,
yeah. And like, no, I just think you're funny. So not that my opinion matters, because if it did, I'd be like a national comedy icon.
Well, it doesn't matter how funny you are, because it's we live in an attention economy, right? It's
Right,
all
yes.
about likes and upvotes and subscriptions, and basically you gotta it's a full-time job to feed the algorithms with all your free content, and the hopes that like those and it's kind of it's frustrating that clubs are looking at those metrics to decide if they want to book you or not. Like, well, how many followers do you have? And it's like, wait, you mean how many robots I programmed to boost my numbers? Or like it's like I don't know. It feels less gatekeepy and more gatekeepy at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I understand. I don't really care much about followers. When I say not much, I mean, I know it makes a difference, but when it comes to my comedy, if I'm funny, I'm funny, and if I'm not, I'm not. Usually, the not part does not happen that frequently. But again, as long as if I'm doing the comedy that I want to do, is what I should say, then I'm happy with it,
Yeah.
and if I have people following and go like, you're funny, that's great. But I'm at the point where if one new follower makes a difference, only because that's probably 2%. I've gone up 2% or something,
Yeah.
but on the other hand, there's these guys or people out there who have hundreds of thousands or maybe 1 million followers because of these little segments that they're doing, but they can't put together a full set. And when I say a full set,
Matt Rife.
They can't even put together 5 minutes. I'm sorry, who?
Matt Rife. I can tell somebody who watched a lot of Dr. Katz.
So yeah, I mean, attention bookers. Just because somebody they can have 1 billion followers, but if they're all in Bangladesh, they're not coming to Podunk, Mississippi to see that comedian.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I get from the booker's perspective. It's like, well, your job is to put asses in seats. But like if you've got a reputable venue, right? And like,
yes,
people just, are going to come and see like the club here. More often than not, like the audiences have no fucking clue who's on the bill. They're just, going out on a Friday night for a date, get out of the house, and they're just going to see whoever's there.
There was a venue I probably headlined at maybe 5 times. I headlined there 5 times, and they had a regular crowd that came in.
Right.
I mean, they had, there would be new people, but it wasn't a very big place. It held like 50 or 60 people, and 30 to 40 were regulars. They were there every week. And so when I headlined, I had to come up with new material because 30 to 40 of those people saw me the last time. I was like, okay, yeah, they just saw me a month ago. I need new material. But on the other hand,
but that's good motivation.
yes.
Real quick, GD. I have a family friend who's like crashing at my pad from out of town.
You want to get him on camera?
Well,
No,
I just saw his car pulled up, so he's gonna be like coming in, and like
no sweat. We can do. So is there anything else you want to cover? Are there any causes or anything that you want to promote, or I like to give the last word to the guest.
Yeah, just chill out, everybody. Treat others like you want to be treated. Just fucking simmer the fuck down, right? And that's a cause anybody can get behind, I think.
That's the golden ratio.
Yeah.
What's the peanut gallery saying?
Oh yeah. Thanks, David. Like,
no, I just want to know what he's saying.
Yeah. What'd you say, David?
It's the golden ratio.
The golden ratio.
Or the golden rule.
The golden rule. Yeah.
Oh, so the golden ratio is like the golden shower proportions.
Yeah. Treat everybody like subdivisions of a rectangle.
I'm using that.
No, you're not. I'm using it first.
Oh, he's using it first. Yeah. Hey, that's a freebie. You can.
I'm sending out royalty checks.
All right, cool. I need the money.
Are there another comedian?
No, just a ham.
Oh, okay. All right.
Omelette.
Well, look, I really appreciate you doing this.
Oh, likewise. This is blast.
And once it's ready, I'll let you know, and I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link for the promos also. I'll have the promos ready in a couple of days, and like I said, the show itself will be out in January.
Awesome! Can't wait.
Yeah. And thanks. I really appreciate it. You're a great guest, and I think you're a really funny comic.
Oh, thank you so much. And you're super chill and cool, and I'm glad we met. So
it's the hair. Thanks.
Oh, it's just the illusion of coolness.
All right, take care.
You too. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.